The NFL just turned into a complete bloodbath, and the Philadelphia Eagles are standing right in the middle of a massive, franchise-altering storm. We're talking about a potential trade that would send shockwaves from the Atlantic to the Pacific, changing the landscape of the entire league overnight. Forget everything you thought you knew about the Eagles' off-season strategy. A massive, high-stakes move is brewing. It's going to leave the rest of the NFC absolutely terrified. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. Listen, people are out there acting like the Philadelphia front office is just sitting on their hands after the dust settled on June 1st. They're wrong. They're dead wrong. A former NFL powerhouse, a four-time Pro Bowl legend who knows exactly how the Philadelphia front office ticks, just dropped a prediction so loud it's shaking the foundation of the league. This isn't some random rumor from a basement blogger. This is high-level analysis from someone who has been in the trenches. He's claiming that arms race for a Super Bowl ring hasn't even hit its peak yet, and the next massive explosion is coming directly out of Philadelphia. But wait until you hear exactly which superstar player is being linked to the Eagles and the risky medical gamble that could either crown them champions or blow up their entire roster. The trade that changed everything to understand why this move is inevitable. You have to look at the carnage that happened on that Monday in June. Everyone in Philadelphia thought they were the only ones making a blockbuster move. They were busy finalizing the trade that sent their star receiver to the New England Patriots, a move that felt like the big story of the week. But the script got flipped, and it happened fast. While the Eagles were busy with their business, the Los Angeles Rams decided to go nuclear. They pulled the trigger on a monster deal, landing Myles Garrett in a move that completely redefined the defensive hierarchy of the NFC. The price tag, it was astronomical. We're talking about sending Jared Verse the other way, plus a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round, and a 2029 third-round selection. That trade was a gut punch to the rest of the conference. Suddenly, a team that was already dangerous became the team to beat. The Eagles saw it happen. They saw the blueprint. They saw that if you want to be the king of the mountain, you have to be willing to spend like it. The Eagles closed their own trade, but it was modest compared to the Rams' absolute masterclass in aggression. And now, the pressure to respond is mounting. Who is the one player capable of neutralizing the Rams' new defensive juggernaut? The name being whispered in league circles is Max Crosby. Is this the move that puts Philadelphia over the top? Or is it a desperate gamble? Drop a name in the comments. Do you think the Eagles should pull the trigger on a massive trade or stick to the current roster? The inside man's vision, let's talk about the man behind the prediction. Bart Scott, a Super Bowl champion, a four-time Pro Bowl linebacker, and one of the most blunt, no-nonsense analysts on television right now, is calling his shot. And when Scott talks, you listen. He's not guessing. He's drawing on a deep, personal understanding of how the Philadelphia general manager operates. Scott's assessment is simple. The guy in charge of the Eagles doesn't like to be one-upped. He doesn't sit around watching his rivals stockpile elite talent while he watches from the sidelines. Scott is convinced that the front office has a secret plan, a move that will utilize the extra capital they just acquired. He's not just suggesting a minor tweak to the defense. He's talking about an all-in, championship or bust acquisition of Max Crosby. But here's where the story gets really wild. Scott isn't just saying they want Crosby. He's proposing the exact trade package that would make it happen. He's looking at Nolan Smith as the primary piece that makes the math work for both sides. Think about it. Smith is young, he's got the pedigree, and he's coming off a campaign where he proved he can perform when the lights are brightest. He's exactly the kind of high-upside asset that a team in a rebuilding phase would demand. The tactical logic. Why this makes sense, you might be asking yourself. Why would the Eagles need another pass rusher? Look at what the Rams did. They already had a budding star in Jared Verse. They didn't need more help, but they realized that by adding an elite, game-wrecking force like Myles Garrett, they didn't just upgrade their defense. They changed the way every single opposing quarterback has to play them. The Eagles have Jonathan Greenid, and they've got a group that's functional. But functional doesn't win championships. Functional doesn't survive a deep playoff run against the elite offenses of the NFC. If the goal is to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, you don't settle for good enough. You chase greatness. If you put Max Crosby on that defensive line, alongside the absolute wrecking balls that are Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, you are building a nightmare. You're talking about a unit that would be almost impossible to block. In Vic Fangio's defensive scheme, a talent like Crosby wouldn't just be an addition. He would be the primary engine of the entire defense. It's a terrifying thought for every offensive coordinator in the league. But before we get too excited, we have to talk about the massive red flag that is currently hanging over this entire potential deal. The medical mystery that the reason Max Crosby is even being discussed as trade bait, and it isn't his talent. When you are one of the best in the world at your position, you don't usually move teams unless there is a complication. For Crosby, that complication is the physical examination. Earlier this offseason, the Baltimore Ravens were ready to pull the trigger. They had a deal on the table that would have sent 2 first-round picks to Las Vegas to bring Crosby home. It was a done deal until the medical reports came back. The Ravens walked away because they didn't like what they saw on the physical. We're talking about a player who missed games last season due to health issues. While he still managed to rack up double-digit sacks, the consistency was affected by that nagging physical uncertainty. For a general manager like the one in Philadelphia, who is known for being incredibly surgical and disciplined with his resources, this is the biggest hurdle. If you trade away a young, high-upside talent like Nolan Smith and burn your future draft capital for a guy who might not be 100% healthy, you are putting your entire career on the line. It's a massive, high-octane bet. One bad medical report could turn this into the biggest disaster.
It really dictates the
as we've seen
defense.
in the past, when the prize is elite talent, the Eagles aren't exactly known for playing it safe. The high-stakes future, we are looking at a chess match. On one side, you have a team that is trying to rebuild and is looking for a haul of assets. On the other side, you have a hungry contender that just saw their rivals go all in and now has to decide if they're going to mirror that aggression. The arms race is real. Every team in the NFC is looking at the Rams and asking themselves if they can keep up. If Philadelphia stands still, they fall behind. If they jump into the deep end, they might find themselves with the best defense in the modern era. Or they might find themselves trapped in a salary cap nightmare if the medical concerns turn out to be real. What do you think? Is the reward worth the risk? Does the prospect of a defensive front with Crosby, Carter, and Davis make you forget all about the health risks? The league is moving fast, and the Eagles are about to make their move. Whether it's the blockbuster trade we've been waiting for or a pivot to a different strategy, you know one thing for certain. It's going to be loud, it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to be absolute carnage on the field. Keep your eyes glued to the news, because when these trades start dropping, they don't give you any warning. This is a league where things can change in a single heartbeat, and you don't want to be the one who wasn't paying attention when the league shifted under our feet. Are we witnessing the final piece of a championship puzzle, or a risky move that could backfire? The debate is only just getting started, and the tension is reaching an all-time high. Make sure you're staying tuned as this story develops. Everything depends on how these next few weeks play out in the front offices across the NFL. Don't forget to hit that like button to keep this content climbing, and leave your predictions in the comments below. I want to know if you think this trade is a stroke of genius or a total disaster waiting to happen. I'll be back the second the next update drops. Stay ready.